Okay. I think we're all good, yeah. Audio, microphone's working. Great. Alright. Hey guys, so I've already kind of accepted the fact this is going to be a disgustingly long stream. Because we have the welfare, the gacha units, we have the pilots, and then for alterations, we have ground cell, we have the turn A and the turn X, as well as the new suits we already had. So, I'm gonna be here a while. Buckle up, grab some popcorn, whatever. We're gonna get cracking. We're gonna look at the welfare first, as we always do, and go from there. I was actually really interested to see the ground cell. It looks pretty good stat-wise, you know? So, at least there's something to look forward to. Alteration coins? No, red shield coin. Okay, so we'll start off with the Mercurius. Oh, geez. Alright, well, thank you for the donation, Luigi. Champion. Okay. What are we looking at here? Defense up alpha. Raise your melee and shot defense. That's actually a huge percentage too, the 39%. So that's actually pretty dope. It's been a while since we had a welfare with like solid defensive stuff on it, so this will be interesting to see where it goes. And then we have force space and close combat. As for stats, for a welfare, it doesn't actually look that bad. With the change gear in effect, it's rolling about 2400 shot attack, which is slightly lower than what we see with like the 25 and the 2600 heads, but it's not that bad, all things considered. So, numbers wise, it's pretty okay for a welfare. I like the EX skill. It is a crazy percentage boost there for what it is. I'm not so much a fan of the tags though. Close combat does really benefit melee more than anything. Force space, I don't really like the 4 tags, as I've talked about before. So yeah, it's weird that a shot machine made for defense, or I guess it wasn't really a shot machine. I guess you could say close combat because it was the defensive sibling between the two. Even then, it doesn't carry a lot of melee attack. It only pushes what, 700 or so? I guess for a welfare that's pretty nice. I still don't like the tags because close combat is extremely common. Force space, not as common, but still very common. So, anyways. Torso. What do we got? With machine gun category equipped, enemy EX skill power reduced. It's very easy to find a machine gun to put on your suit, so this will be a very easy thing to trigger. And being able to reduce enemy EX skill power just in general, very good. Because that means their melee EX, their shot EX, all the EX, you know, fun is cancelled, pulls closed. So yeah, I like the torso trait there for a support suit. I think that's very nice. Force-based close combat again. As for numbers, you're looking at about the same amount of melee attack, about 700. As for shot, you're only carrying over about 4. For a welfare, I don't really have much to complain about so far. The only real issue I have is the tags, but, you know, it's a welfare. It's typically going to be run as a back slot or as a pure support, so. Arms. What do we got for arms? The speed attribute, melee crit rate boosted. I've talked about how I feel about melee crit rate and crit rate in general in the past. And just to cliff notes, I don't like that your damage is left up to RNG. So yeah, I'd rather get something that is guaranteed than gamble on RNG carrying me. Numbers wise, we're looking at about 2400 melee attack on the arms. For a welfare, that's actually pretty solid. Hard driving past outside. As for shot attack, we're pushing about 750-ish. For a welfare, that's actually respectable for arms, for shots. That's nice. A little bit of melee, good amount of shot. Obviously, the defensive numbers are very high on this. Heavy armor for space. I like the heavy armor tag. Heavy armor is not the most common thing in the game, so that does give value to this part just for the tag alone. As for space, well, I've talked about that already. So yeah, numerically, I have no major complaints about the Mercurius. The speed attribute, 20% chance not to recoil. Okay, I don't like that trait at all. For space, heavy armor again. Stat wise, you're looking at about 4 change. So about 800 melee, 800 shot. For welfare, again, I've got no real complaints about the numbers. Yeah. I don't like the legs as much though, because that trait's pretty useless and it really only has heavy armor, but the numbers are workable at least, so there's that. Backpack. Yeah, don't burn your consumption. Yeah, no thanks. Miss me with that trait, dog. Ooh, that's a lot of defensive value, but it makes sense. It's the backpack, and that is the claim to fame for this part, so to speak. For space, heavy armor. Numerically, you're looking at about 700, 800 melee attack, about 800 shot attack. Welfare backpack, pretty good numbers. Not gonna complain about this. This is definitely a defense-oriented suit. Lots of good carryover with change gears due to that, so quite nice. For the crash shield, 21% chance of attacks penetrating super armor. Okay, I'm not so much a fan of that, but I know that some people are. I find it interesting that's a beam saber. As for actual numbers though, obviously it's very lackluster, and it's a melee for a welfare. So you're looking at less than 3,000 melee attack, which for a welfare, okay, you're ballparking average, maybe a little above average. For like literally availability, no, go away, please. I'll never come back either, just go away. Now, okay. Yeah, really nothing saving grace about this one. Don't like the trait, tags are workable, I guess, but yeah. Beam gun, Mercurius. Yeah, I same thing, Striker, same thing. I really expected the backpack to have something like the, actually, not the Cherudum, I was actually thinking like the Akatsuki, where it creates that, like, the point barrier around it that increases its beam resist and stuff, right? I thought it'd be something like that, except it creates a field, like, right in front of it that just blocks things for a while, you know? That'd be really cool. Or an EX skill that's made to lock the enemy down or something. But just giving it a mediocre at best trait, I feel like that's kind of doing it dirty. Anyways, beam gun. Magazine boost. Okay, now, to be fair, you may want to do something like the crossbone torso cheese, where your entire build is focusing EX skill damage on the torso and beam damage. And that way you just walk up, you fire it off, and you're done. This would give you extra shots with it. Beyond that though, for a gun, I think there's a lot of really good traits available in the pool for shooters. Yeah, like at least it's a solid 20%, but that's not really gonna do that much at the end of the day. A typical beam rifle has anywhere from, what, 5 to 8 shots? You're adding an extra 20% onto that, which is what, like 6 shots or 10 shots? It's not really like a make or break thing. So, for space, heavy armor, and the numbers really aren't that impressive on the gun. The trait's useful under very, very specific builds. Machine gun don't have very many good traits, IIRC. The problem is though, I could swear that there's a machine gun that we got that actually has a much better trait than this. Let me double check. We do have the ability to check, so I'm gonna do that here. Because you are right, my brain had a complete forgetful moment there, and I forgot machine gun is not beam saber, but that is why we have the very well maintained parts list. Clear everything, and we only want ranged weapons and machines. There's a filter for that around here somewhere. Is there not? Should have been a filter. Hmm. It's around here somewhere. One of these things has a list for it all. Ranged weapons. No, not on hand, unfortunately. Dang, none of these have a really nice list for it. That's a shame. Shame, shame, shame. None of this says whether it's a beam rifle, machine gun, or anything, really? Oh, there it is. Okay, hold on, I found it here. It was hidden way at the back of this list. Okay, so what do we got here? After 20 seconds pass, reduce cooldown by 40% once. That was the Valkyria, and I was talking about that already. Like, that's interesting, but 20 seconds is a long time to wait. While blade category, shooting damage taken reduced by a flat number, and then flat numbers, special shot. Okay, so you got the bullpup machine gun from the, what suit is this? The GM space type, where with speed attribute, initial EX skill charge boosted by 10%. Okay, that's not terrible. While defender, enemy shooting power reduced by 25%. Middle shooter job, EX skill power boosted. There we go. That's the Zastava. Shit, that was one of the Sokais, wasn't? No, this is blue. That was the Hyperion. Yeah. Okay, middle shooter job, EX skill power boosted by 25%. Nice. We got a reload speed. While amphibious, initial EX skill charge boosted by 20%. When one enemy shot down, reduce cooldown by 40% once. Oh, and yeah, the X divider. Someone mentioned that. Outfighter, initial EX skill charge boosted by 20%. So there's not a ton of really good traits, but there's enough that there are options. So it's not like you're like really locking yourself into anything in particular, but yeah. Thing is though, even then, like, boosting your ranged weapon magazine is, you're only getting so much mileage out of that because it has to, one, be beam, and two, you know, it has to be a ranged weapon. So you're pretty much locked out to this gun getting a boost and any beam EX skills that you have on your suit. And because numerically it's a very weak weapon, you probably wouldn't really be using this gun as a front end, it'd be a back. So you'd need to have a powerful submachine gun front, and I think the best one is, you know, I think the best one stat-wise is the one that we got from, actually no, because there were ones with EX skills I didn't look at, because traits, right? Yeah. Anyways, overall, the trait itself isn't that great, but in the field of the machine guns, there's limited options, so could be worse. It is a free part, so we are able to get it at EX10. I just don't know if it's really going to be that great. Is all I'm going to say about it. Anyways, let's continue here. So gear cost minus 100, everything's at 1. And as for chips, speed, good. I need speed. I only have 45. Although I really need, I think it's technique. Or power? One of them. I'm down to like 15 chips. I really need one of those to loop back. Mass production, Federation, Commander, Transformer, and for Desert. Alright, alright. Well, I can definitely restock on my Commander. With the rebalance too, that's definitely a requirement. Alright, let's pop on over to the gacha and take a look at what we got there. Oh yeah, the game always does this after a patch. It likes to take its sweet dang time. Yeah, the Commander's really nice to see. Especially after all the upgrading I did recently. So, okay. Yeah. So you get L badges, ground cell as well. Okay. It even shows up on these. Alright. Well, we'll start off looking at the wing, and then we'll pop on over to the RAS A210. Okay, Wing Gundam. Power attribute. Well, power attribute, shooting crit rate boosted. Whoop-de-doo, moving on. Numerically, what are we looking at here? About 343, 4400 shot attack. Not bad on a 4-star head in the select pool. High mobility, high firepower, functional third tags for a suit, especially high mobility. Gives you that shot defense, but okay. It's okay. Not the best. Whoa, what happened to my screen? Whoa, that is... Whoa, boyo. What is happening? Hold on a dang second here. Do I have to like reconnect everything? I think I'm gonna have to reconnect my screen because wowzers, that is some crazy output right there. That is. Yeah, my video capture just had a oh boy, a little bit of an aneurysm there. Are we better now? Are you healthy? You better? Okay. Oh boy. Bad day. Alright, so numerically this head is pretty good for a 4-star select part. It's nothing jaw-droppingly amazing. More or less bog standard, I think, for a shooter head. High mobility, high firepower, like I said. High firepower is nice, shot attack 5% and melee attack, functional on pretty much any build. And you do have access to high mobility, melee attack, shot defense 5% up. Kind of a split tag, but it does activate some very nice traits. So there is that. I just don't like the trait on this part at all. Just not a fan of it. At least it's shooting crit rate, not like special shot crit rate, but even that, I'm just setting the bar low. Alright, Wing Gundam Torso. Long shooter job, 14 pounds, it's a guts. I don't like guts, so no. Numerically, what are we looking at here? Melee is 13, so that's what, 4-ish? So about 1500 or so melee attack, and you're looking at about 1700 shot or torso in the 4-star pool. That is a stupid amount of shot attack, 1700. Nice. I like that quite a bit. And it's not shoddy on the melee attack either. It's got some good numbers. Oh, crap. Okay. High mobility for base. High mobility, already talked about that one. For base, I already talked about how I feel about the 4 tags. So, yeah. It's not a self-destruct automatic win. Yeah, no, you're right. It's still just not really a great trait. Numerically, this is a really, really nice part. Lots of good numbers on it. Word tags, workable. Trait, not a fan of it personally. Maybe some people really like to gamble on guts. Who knows? When armor's 80% or less shooting power boosted. I don't like enmity style parts, and that means as your HP lowers, more stuff gets activated or you get more powerful, because that promotes you taking damage. That doesn't really yield much in arena, as you want to have full HP clearing it to get the maximum multiplier reward. Even if you're not looking for the maximum score you can possibly get in arena, you still want to take as little damage as possible, as every single point does eventually affect your final ranking to some degree. And it does add up over time. But for multi-missions, okay, you know, getting a shooting power boost is pretty dope. And when you field over cost, so you have 3 units, 2 units, whatever, that has more cost than you're allowed to field, your armor will start at 70%, meaning this will activate immediately anyways. So it's pretty good. But yeah, for arena, you're required to take hits for this to activate. So pretty much, I don't like the requirement trigger, but I really like the effect it gives. That's what this comes down to. High mobility 4 based, already talked about those. As for arms, you're looking at about 2100, yeah, about 2100 shot attack, which for a pair of arms, considering the original wing arms were what, like 1100 shot attack or something like that? Hello? It's pretty good. Okay, and it doesn't really lack on the melee attack either, pushing almost, what, 3800? That's pretty damn good. Actually, almost 39. Nice. Okay. I like the numbers, the trait. I don't like the trigger, but I like the effect. And the tags are workable. The legs. Special shot power boost. Be gone. Melee defense, carry this, so about 1500 melee attack, about 1300 shot attack. Again, for a pair of legs in the pig ticket pool, some good numbers. Some good numbers. High mobility for base, workable tags. Good numbers, don't like the trait. Tags, I'm on the fence, I don't really care either or for them, but they are workable. Alright, backpack. Snipe hack. Reduce shot attack of all enemies and reduce shot defense. So, if you somehow know that you're going to be playing against someone that has a lot of shot attack and shot defense on them, this will cripple them. So you gotta remember, right, when you use this skill, you're reducing their shot attack and their shot defense. So not only are you reducing their core offensive stat if they're a shot machine, but you're also nuking the thing that they most likely had the most defense value for. I say most likely because there are people that have very well-rounded builds. Those are the people that have like 2 million plus C power, but for general use, this is a really nice debuff. Wonder if we have one like this for like melee yet, and I just missed it. I don't think so. Anyways, numerically, what are we looking at here? You're looking at about 1500-ish shot attack and about 1500 melee. Honestly, for a 4-star pit ticket frame, this has crazy number value. Crazy number value. Oh, no. See, the thing is, right? It seems good, but it's on the back. You gotta remember, there's only so many good support EX skills on backpacks right now. Most of the backpacks are either for some really good trait for your main suit or a powerful damaging EX skill. Most, because not all of them are. Last week. Anyways, so yeah, this is a very solid backpack in my opinion for a support suit. But I wouldn't say roll on this banner in particular. It's not like it's a game-breaking suit or anything. Typically that's reserved for welfares and limiteds. But this is definitely something that will have heavy consideration once it goes into the pick ticket pool 4 weeks from now. Because these are very nice high-statted parts for what it is. Okay, 6. The beam sabers for the wing. Long shooter job, initial EX... Ooh. Ooh, oh boy. Ooh, you're doing things to me here, Beam Saber. Alright, so we have almost 5k melee attack out of the box, which is really nice. High mobility, high firepower, very functional. Yeah, high firepower is a really good tertiary tag for either build. I've already talked about it, so you guys all know that. I like this, honestly. I would want that trait on my weapon on a shot machine. Very, very easy to get a long shooter if you're running a shot machine. It's a no-brainer, really. And you get an initial EX skill charge boost. Spicy. That's, in my opinion, that's a pretty good use of a slot right there. Nice. Okay. Buster Rifle. Oh, I shall. In general, as a beam saber, though, it's pretty mediocre. It has good numbers on it, but until it gets alteration, it'll still be beat out by other stuff that's available. Actually, do these have alteration? I'm pretty sure these don't have alterations available for them, do they? No. Okay. Just making sure. Actually, I'm curious. What does the beam saber completely max out to? Probably what, 9.8? 9.1. Yeah, so even alterated, it'll probably push up to like 9, just over 10k probably. Maybe just over 10k. So... yeah, workable sword, but there's better available. Maybe not in the pick ticket pool, but by the time you get around, by the time the suit has an alteration, you've probably sat through a couple of Sokais and battle festivals, so. Anyways, let's move on to the Buster Rifle, the big pew pew. Max output buster rifle. Ooh, yeah, we got B power, boys. So that's a cutscene EX skill. You're gonna fire a big laser beam. Big laser beam. High mobility, high firepower. Shot attack. Yeah, this pushes 9/9, so this will probably hit 11 once it gets alterated. No real complaints about the rifle. The EX skill actually has numbers on it, and it'll probably be pushed up either to B+ or A- for power once it gets alterated. And it has high firepower, and that makes it very slottable in most builds. I got no real complaints about this being in the pick ticket pool. This is nice, gives some variety. And it's not a beam it's like a beam rifle, not a sniper, so that's nice. Shield. Oh no. You know, I want to see what he sent me now when he said simp. Give me a second. Oh no. You know what? I'm gonna say I'm not gonna click on that link. That's a terrible idea while I'm streaming. Okay. Okay. So numerically, what are we looking at here? 1300 is shot attack, about 1500 melee. The numbers are nice, much like the original wing shield that we got. Cool. High mobility 4 base. I don't really like the tags that much, but they are workable, I guess, depending on your build. As for the trait, when armor is 60% or more, shooting crit rate boosted. I like the fact that it's or more. I don't like the fact that it's crit rate. Okay. Numerically, nice. Tags, workable. Trait, Okay. So, overall, the wing has some really good numbers. I'm liking what I'm seeing for a 4-star pick ticket suit. I really like what it's doing. Some of the traits are very interesting. It's got that really cool EX skill on the backpack. Overall, I honestly think that's a really cool thing to see being put into the 4-star pick ticket pool. Very nice. Very nice. Some of those stats are like something I'd almost expect to see out of like a Sokai almost, right? So good numbers. Very good numbers. Not breaking 2K, but you're friggin' close. Okay, yeah, time for the dummy thick ogre. Oh, it's got 10 parts. God, I'm not going to enjoy the alteration of this sucker, am I? Okay. Ogre Trans Am. Okay, raise your speed, raise your ooh. Oh, we got a problem, gentlemen. Okay, so if you're good at reading numbers that are on the screen, you'll see that it boosts your melee attack by 49%. Out of the box, when this is alterated, I swear, if that jumps up to 59%, that's a problem. That's an actual problem. That means we have a 4-star pick ticket part that on its own, like out of the box, has a buff equivalent to alterated Sokai and Battle Festival parts. What the heck is that? What the heck is that? Oh my lord. So you get your speed boost, a humongous melee attack boost, and you resist flinching. This is a combination of arguably some of the best stuff you would want in a melee machine, and you get the best numbers currently available in the game for the buff. And this is just out of the box. I'm getting myself a copy of this when it hits the 4-star exchange shop. I'm not even, no, I'm getting a copy of this. That's it. Okay. Yeah, good news, these aren't alterated yet. Oh, I'm not looking forward to that day, let me tell you what. Trans Am on a headpiece, that's not that weird. The thing is, you gotta remember, Trans Am is an awakening. Awakening, if you look at it as a whole, is extremely common on heads, because that's typically the best place to put it. Maybe not Trans Am in particular, but for this suit, the head is where most of the Trans Am action takes place, as its visor slides down and all that. So it makes sense to put this awakening on the head, even though it's a Trans Am. But if you go look at like the Pale Rider, you go look at Alice, you go look at exam systems, right? All of these are in the head. Most awakenings are. It's rarer to find awakenings in other body parts, frankly. So Trans Am typically is locked to the back, as that's where the GN drive is, but this is a special case, I assume, as the head has the most drastic change when it's activated. Anyways, numbers. Okay. So what I'm seeing is high firepower for computers. Don't like the for computers tag. I don't think anyone had take that as a surprise. High firepower, as I've said, usable for melee and shot builds. Nice, although if you're using this part, it's a melee build. Numerically, you're looking at a pretty good amount of shot attack for a not shot attack head. Typically, we see this pushing anywhere between 2800 and 3.2k, so seeing it almost at 3800, crazy high. As for melee though, it does suffer a little bit. It does barely get to like, what, 650 melee attack? Maybe a little more than that, but it's negligible. So for stats, the head is hurting, but it has the single, in my opinion, single best awakening buff in the game for melee. 49% pre-alterated, 20% speed boost, no flinching, or resist flinching, I should say. And yeah, little to no investment. Heck yeah, brother. Okay, let's look at the torso. An armor 60% or more shooting power boosted. Okay. Yeah. Right, this suit's kind of like a mix of melee and shot. Forgot about that. It's interesting, right? Because I think Ogre, I think it's just going to run in, start beating things up with its fist. But, right, it has gigantic cannons on its shoulder. Can't believe I forgot that. Okay. So, very easy to have 60% or more armor, shooting power boosted. That is a solid trait in my opinion, because if you're dropping below 60% armor, chances are you're gonna die. So at that point, shooting power is not gonna save you. Numerically, you're looking at about 1350 melee, 1350 shot. That's solid, not as good as the wing numerically, but solid for what it is. High firepower, close combat. Two very functional tags usable in either build, whether you're doing a shot build or a melee build. So it does give you the variety of choice there. Whatever you're going for, it will work. And then sub-slots can just add on to that. No real complaints about the torso. I may have wanted to look at this suit first, only because the Wing Gundam stats are so good in comparison, but this seems to be winning out in the traits and EX skills section. Until we hit here, melee crit rate boost. Go away. Numerically, what are we looking at here? Pretty much the same idea as... Yeah, okay. So you're pushing about 3,900 melee attack, give or take, and you have about, what, 1,650, 1,700 shot attack. For a pair of arms, that's a very respectable amount of shot attack, especially considering they're not, like, core shot arms. And melee's okay, and it's definitely workable. I don't like the trait at all, and it does have the high firepower close combat tags that the other parts did, which is workable. So, definitely workable. Okay. So far, the torso is obviously a lot more kind of shooter-centric with its trait, but the tags are very ambiguous. The arms kind of favor both, not really one in particular, but still very good numbers, and has tags to kind of accommodate both, but not a great trait. And the head is just straight up melee. So, there's that. Legs. Alright, so these are the modified Physalis legs, yes? Heat Rush, B+D. Okay, so this is going to lock you into an animation, as it doesn't seem to be a cutscene. So I will have to see this in action, but typically skills that lock you into an animation are really a do or die. If you use it and whiff, you're going to have a bad day. Yeah. Yeah, I keep mentioning alteration, but that's just because I expected to eventually get alteration, which will make them even better than they are. So, yeah, I just find it weird that they gave the head such a crazy buff. Anyways, numbers-wise, what are we looking at on the legs? About 1,500 melee attack, 800 shot attack. Okay. High firepower, heavy armor. I find that an interesting spread choice. So the legs definitely have a lot more melee than they do shot, which is typical. Most of the time, legs will have a higher melee attack than a shot attack unless they're specifically shot legs. If they're neutral legs, typically it'll still lean in the favor of melee. So, yeah. this isn't terribly unique. But the fact that, like, it's just the way the numbers work. You got 1500 melee attack and like 800 shot. Like, they're a pair of legs, that's for sure. They're not jaw-droppingly amazing, but they're not bad. I'm really sad about the EX skill, though. I really wish they had done something with the beams in the knees instead of the swords. The swords, I think, should have been relegated to the backpack. They're okay. They're okay. Workable tags for sure for a shot build, with heavy armor heavily benefiting shot, and heavy firepower working for both melee and shot. But I'm not so much a fan of the EX skill. The numbers definitely favor melee more than shot, but the shot's not terrible, it's just not great. GN-I's Blasters, DB+. Alright, so this is another non-cutscene EX on this suit. Okay. So this fires the backpack and the binders. This is going to be another one of those things where I'll have to see it in action to really determine whether it's good or not, as it's going to animation lock you. And as a shooter, typically that means you're not moving, which is very dangerous when you're doing arena, multi-missions, you name it. So unless it's a really good like EX animation, that could just be extremely dangerous. Numerically, it's pretty much the exact same as the legs. It doesn't really, like, it benefits melee a good amount. Shot gets kind of like a token handshake from it. But the word tags are definitely leaning together more towards shot, but it can be used for either build, as you can just use high firepower in a melee build and trade out heavy armor, right? So the backpack looks interesting. I'll just need to see the animation along with the legs, really. All right, time to go to the lot. This is a slew of weapons. Wow. Okay. Oh. D power. Oof. All right. You can move freely while shooting. You reduce their melee and shot defense. Like, if they had made this stackable, so every time you hit them with a projectile, it reduces their defense by a stack, but it had a much slower magazine, I think this would have been really, really interesting. But as it is, D power magazine. I too like using wet noodles as weapons. Yeah, it's an axe with a magazine. It's unique, I'll give it that. I just don't know if it's a good unique. It does offer high firepower in close combat though, meaning you do have a good amount of variety in using this in a melee build, egg-wise. As for its EX skill and stats, the stats are, like, they're okay. It's pushing almost 10k, meaning it'll break up to what? 1070, 1080-ish, something like that, maybe a little lower. But the EX skill just... Numbers-wise, it's okay. Tag-wise, it's okay. EX, no, man. Okay, the GN Ogre Twin Sword Nishiki. Enemy melee power reduced. Okay. Very easy to get in fighter, and the debuff is nice. I would put this more on a support suit though than my primary suit, as there's a lot of really good traits and EX skills available on weapons these days. High firepower, 4 computers. I don't like the 4 computers. I like the high firepower flexibility. Numerically, it's the exact same as the other weapon pretty much, so yeah. It's interesting having an axe with those numbers though, because axes aren't as common. Alright, the dual blade variant. Melee damage at flat number, no thank you. And numerically, it's pretty much the same as its siblings, high firepower, heavy armor. Okay. Word tags are definitely usable. Stats are okay. Trait, not so much. And here's the gun variant of the axe. So we're now using a gun axe instead of a gun blade. Okay. Job gauge increase boosted. I've talked many times about how I feel about the job gauge. Long story short, I still don't believe it has enough value to really make it worth making a build aiming towards pushing your job gauge. So to me, this is kind of a thrown away trait, but each to their own. High firepower, heavy armor, good for shot, gives you some variety of choice. Numerically, it is not bad, almost breaks 10k, but much like the melee weapons, we do have stuff that breaks 10k. We have alterated that pushes up to 11, so don't feel ultra pressured to get this for the numbers, because yeah, if you're not going to roll the gacha and you're waiting for the 4-star pick, chances are the 2 limited sets we're going to get between now and then will have something better numerically that you could probably get. So you could even just roll the bullseye banner that's up and probably get something better. I'd have to go double check what's in it. All right, and the bazooka. Well, 4 computers, EX skill power boosted. So much like the last time I was attacking 4 computers, the same kind of deal popped up. I think it was like initial EX skill cooldown reduction or something. And here's another one, EX skill power boosted. It's very rare to find a trait that requires 4 computers to trigger it, but this does give a good return. So potentially you might want to do a 4 computers tag build. And numerically it's pretty much the same as what I said about the previous weapon, but at least this has a better trait as it is an EX skill power boost. High firepower, 4 computers definitely work. Okay. Overall, not that bad. Although definitely the real winner of the Rasei 210 is the head. Hands down, that's like the best part. Anyways, we're going to look at the pilots, and we're going to check out the Twitter videos, and then we'll go to alteration, my favorite part. Alright, Corin Nander. Wow us with your stats. You know, or don't. He's a defender, just under 1300 melee attack, fully upgraded. Was speed attribute, job gauge increase boosted. Just talked about how I feel. Amphibious for urban area. Makes sense because he was a Kapool pilot, wasn't he? Yeah. No thank you, Corin. We should put you back in deep freeze though. Okay. And Setsuna F. Seiei. While Pro Tag, all power boosted. Considering he's an outfighter, you're probably going to be using him in a suit that has Pro Tag. Getting all power boosted, very nice. I like this trait. Numerically, what are we looking at here? Ooh, okay, so he has a lot of melee defense that'll carry over. He's actually, oh, that's stupidly high. What the heck? 2064 melee defense, that's just under 6 change. You're looking at like 2750 melee attack on this sucker. For a not build project pilot, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Setsuna F. Seiei, I like you. You're actually a decent pilot in the normal gacha for once. Nice. And he's got close combat and pro tech. I got no complaints. Setsuna F. Seiei, good job. Good job, man. Good job. There's definitely some 00 bias, though. Okay, so with all of that out of the way, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go look at the event blueprint shop, see what's all up in there, and then we'll hit up Twitter videos, and then alteration. I remembered. Okay. Event blueprint. Gundam Age Normal. Okay, is this the Dodds I'm thinking of? Yes, it is. Get your hands on this Dodds rifle. It's free 12% of your power attribute and have nothing better to slot in. There you go. You got yourself some initial EX cooldown. There you go. Have fun. Sword Strike. I don't think anything really amazing came out of the Sword Strike though. Yeah, it had the against large enemy modifier, but it didn't really do anything. And Rising. Ooh, man, we're going back in time here. Strong melee power boosted, that will only affect your last attack of a chain or the first attack of a boosted melee from a infighter. Shooting crit rate boost, yeah. So pretty much the Dodds rifle is all I would get from this exchange, frankly, as it gives the best returns trait-wise, in my opinion. But if you want other stuff, go for it, right? So these suits just got alterations, really? With all power, are you getting a boost to melee and EX skill power at the same time? I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure when it says all power, it means melee and shooting, not EX, because melee and shooting still affects your EX skill damage. So, anyways, Twitter videos. We move this over here, and we move... Oh, we don't have to move this. I was smart. I remembered to set it up beforehand. Haha, look at this. Look at this, guys. Big brain. Okay. So, we'll look at the Wing Gundam first. I'm not really expecting anything super flashy. Backpack. Yeah, everyone saw that. Okay, that's actually a pretty neat animation. And the new Buster Rifle. Yeah. Okay. Very straightforward. I'm just curious about that Buster Rifle animation, if you can get like canceled out of it. So I guess that's like something that'll have to be checked out. Other than that was pretty bog standard. Okay. Hold on a god dang second here. You're telling me they didn't do any custom animations for this? Man, what the heck? You gave it like the best loadout you could possibly imagine for a 4-star non-alterated part. And then you just decided to not give it a cool animation to go with it. Just tinted it red and called it a day like this is launch day Exia. Yeah, the head visor drops down. You want to know something cool though? You can barely tell. You can barely tell the head visor went down in this camera cutscene animation. Like, what the heck is this? Like, it's cool it slid down, but there's nothing. Considering what it does. Like, anyways. Moving on, let's look at the legs. Oh, is that just like a straight dash forward? Oh no, it's a swing and then a dash. Okay. So it's a 1-hit, 2-hit. Okay, I don't actually have a lot of complaints about this. Because you're mobile very quickly. Like, you immediately move out of your first position, and then you dash forward, and then you're done. And as it's only a 2-hit, you don't have to worry about missing a ton of your slaps while you're doing it. I'm okay with that, actually. That's not a terrible cutscene or a animation lock. That's nice. Okay. So the legs are better than I thought. Legs are definitely better than I thought. All right, let's see the backpack. What do we got? Oh. Okay. Yeah. So it does a time stop. And just, yeah. Okay. No complaints about the backpack either. So the backpack's kind of like a pseudo cutscene, even though it's on a really short cooldown where it does actually freeze things while it does its due. So, nice. And the legs, okay, yeah, workable. Have you checked out the ground sill yet? No, I have not. I have checked everything else out. Guess I gotta do the ground sill sooner or later. Well, let's change back to the game here, and let's get all this going. Done with Twitter, because ground cell's not on it. Restream, because I accidentally... Okay, cool. Back to what we were doing. It's not as bad as the Sword Strike combo. There's a lot of really bad animation locks. Okay, so let's check out the ground cell. Where are you, buddy? You're not here, are you? No. No, you're not. Oh wait, I can pick one of these still? Did I forget to pick something? I guess I did, whoops. You're bisect, right? Yeah, you're red frame. Let's grab a couple of these. Whoopsie. You guys didn't see anything. I remember to use all my stuff. You're the ones I forgot. Alright, let's check out the ground cell, shall we? Okay. Yeah, this suit looks wicked though. Okay. High firepower and high mobility. Zero system. Raise your melee attack by 39%. Raise your shot attack by 19%. Resist flinching. You stun large foes more easily. That's a lot of stuff packed into one. Okay. You know what I think I'm gonna do? Actually. I want to check something in the alteration real quick. Give me a second here. I just want to check the alteration. If it's in the permanent pool, I may as well look at the ground cell in there. Because if it's in the permanent pool, it means it's coming back. And it's not. Alright, well I'll just use this screen to access it then, because ground cell has an alteration. Yeah, there you are. Okay, so let's look at the ground cell. Back to wait, can I not access it? Oh man, that's annoying. Okay, well, whatever. Today I learned the menu's not as nice as I thought it was. Pain. Okay, ground cell. Head, let's go. We already looked at the zero system. That's a very bog standard set of buffs. No real complaints about it. It does add a little more with the whole you resist flinching on top of stunning large foes more easily. Makes it definitely suited for like the multi-mission stuff, especially post-alteration. Numerically, we're looking at 1600 melee attack and about 4100 shot. Not bad. Solid numbers. Okay, high firepower, high mobility. Definitely word tags you can use. Overall, no real complaints. It's not a jaw-droppingly amazing suit, at least part, so it's nice. Alright, Breast Vulcan. D-Power. I'm not even going to talk about it. Alright, what do we got here numerically? 7-6, so about 2100-ish melee attack, pretty solid. As for shot, you're looking at about 3 chain, 1700 shot. For torso, those are some very powerful numbers, especially considering it's, I was going to say not limited, but I guess in a way it's limited. High firepower, high mobility. Okay. Tags are workable, numbers looking hot. I don't like the EX skill at all. In its current form, we'll see how it is when it's alterated. Arms. Well, high firepower, melee power boosted by 30%. Very easy to activate high firepower, whether you are melee or shot, and this one just boosts your melee power by a whole bunch. What's not to like? Oh, the lack of shot defense and stuff. Anyways, numerically, what are we looking at here? You're looking at about 47, 4800 melee attack. That's solid. And you're looking at, yeah, well, it's as you see it shot attack because you can't increase what is 0. Okay. So lots of melee, decent shot attack. Okay. And a nice trait, high firepower, close combat. Again, flexible on both melee and shot. Okay. Yeah, it is 15k per part, because to remember, this is exactly what happened with the new Xeon, where it had the main frame and then it had the weapons. And when you added it all together, you needed however many parts, and it worked out to be, if you split each part evenly, 15k per. So that is food for thought, because it will still cost you 15k per because you need 5 of one material and 5 of another material, which means you're going to have to roll 10 times at minimum between them. So that will be 15k right there. And I say at minimum because to remember, in case, let's say you decide you don't want to roll a single thing this banner because you don't like anything that's in there. Sure, When next week rolls around and we get material B, you can trade 2 material Bs for 1 material A, which, you know, if you don't want to roll anything on this banner, makes sense, right? Anyways. Yeah, it is a build project. Like I said, I found it interesting that they decided to make a exclusive to this game suit a build project, but I guess it looks cool enough they figure they can get people rolling on it. All right, funnels, A+C. Who could have foreseen this? Stats. 21, 2200 melee attack for a pair of legs. That's friggin' nice. Shot attack about 1k. This definitely is coming off like a melee suit to me. It's got those numbers, man. It's got those numbers. Backpack. When armor is 60% or more, buff EX skill effect up. For a pair of wings that looks pretty dang slick, you got a bad trait, dog. Oof. I personally don't like the trait. If you're someone that believes in your buff EX effects getting huge numbers, good. You know, this is a good multiplier, but ain't for me. Numerically, you're looking at about 21, 2200 melee attack. You're looking at about 1000 shot attack again. Legs and backpack, man, got some stupidly good melee numbers on them for what they are. High firepower, close combat, again, makes it very flexible on how you build it. Yeah. So just the main frame has a ton of melee attack on it. You got your high firepower, close combat combos. You have some interesting EX skills. Interesting. Yeah, traits. Okay. This definitely, to me, feels like more of a aesthetic suit and a number suit than a like real good core suit. You dig? All right, let's look at the beam saber. Or weapons in general. When armor is 60% or more, enemy melee power reduced. Look at that, a support weapon on a build project. Personally, I would never build this, but the multiplier, 30% on melee power, is nice to have. Yeah, up to you how you want to play this. Not for me though. Numerically, it's like we have a lot of weapons that do the same thing numerically, if not better. So honestly, I feel like this is a really big waste of potential for what it is. All right, let's look at the heat rod. Okay, I'm gonna be level with you guys. If that thing extends out like Ivy's sword weapon from Soul Calibur, which it looks like it does, I'm on board. That looks cool as heck. Aesthetically, I like the way this looks. Sinister Spiral, AC. Why? Why? High firepower, high mobility. High firepower workable no matter what you're doing with it. And high mobility, it's something you can definitely work into builds. Numerically, just like I said about what the other weapon. Man, what a letdown. All show, no go. I don't know if I'd say no go at all. It has some go on it. It has numbers on the base frame for melee. No question about that. Are the numbers worth the cost? To me, no. Even though it brings decent numbers for what it is, even after alteration, the numbers will just get better. I don't really think it's worth the amount you have to invest as for the returns. You know? It's definitely one of those, like, I got this suit because I really like the way it looks and I want to unlock its color schema, it is a skin, you name it. Hell, if I managed to actually, like, get the entire suit, I would use it as a skin, hands down. It looks really nice in my opinion aesthetically. I would change the color scheme though, because I find all black with purple trimmings just a touch too much edge for my liking, but I do enjoy the aesthetic appearance of it. Okay, let's look at the weapon. Evil Punisher, A+D. This is the skill from the Code Phi's weapon, isn't it? Like, this is the same deal. This is the same thing, just worse. Yeah, the numbers are nothing to really write home about. What the... Yeah, Code is Grave Punisher, but I mean it does the same thing pretty much, doesn't it? Fires out shockwaves on the ground. And it's a scythe. Sigma X twice the edge. But tiss. Take your use and go. Alright, well, high mobility. Initial EX skill charge boosted. There you go. A use for high mobility yet again. You get initial EX skill charge boost. Alright, what are we looking at numerically? Nope. Okay. So that was a little bit of a letdown. Okay, let's move on to alterations, shall we? Okay, now, it has been a very long time since the Turn A and the Turn X have been added to this game. So I'm going to say it out front. I remember barely anything about these two suits. I just remember one has a silly mustache, and I really like the way the Turn X looked. Then we got the normal, the sword strike, the rising, the ground cell, and that'll be it. Okay. And nothing new in the permanent. Okay, so we got, what, 4 suits to look over. 5 suits to look over. Let's get cracking. Turn A. Well, technique attribute, closest shot attack raised. I've talked about close shot attack being raised before. Whenever it says close, mid, or long range shot attack, whatever, anyways, that's referencing your normal attacks, not your EX skills or anything. It's purely your neutrals. Are you at close range, medium range, or long range? Yeah, so, well, Pro Tag, EX skill power boosted. At least the second trait is nice. Very easy to activate Pro Tag, and you get a nice big EX skill power boost. Don't like the first trait that much, but the second trait I have no real complaints about. And numerically, yeah, okay, yeah, no, numerically it's definitely very nice. Actually, this sucker breaks 10k shot attack after completely being upgraded, so there's that too. Cool. And melee attack's no real joke either. It pushes what? That's 2600 melee attack. Turn A head, pretty solid. Still don't like the first trait, but outside of that, pretty dang solid. Moonbeam Butterfly. Yeah, this thing, man. A-A. You get a big fat heal and a 49% shot attack boost. No complaints. I like it. Like it a lot. Pro Tag Gundam type, and obviously the numbers are going to be nuts because it's alterated. Alright, Torso's a winner. Let's keep going. Flip Jump Saber. A+, B+. I can't remember what this animation looks like. I'm not about to go digging through the Twitter to find it. So, yeah, just going to move along. The numbers look good on the arms. It's got a nice upgrade on the EX skill going up to A+, B+. But it purely depends on the animation involved, which I don't have access to. So you can make your own conclusions from that one. Look at me being all diligent. Well, rifle category equipped, any melee power reduced, and you get an EX skill power boost. Okay, so it's kind of like a 2-in-1 wham bam. I don't like the first trait, because obviously it doesn't directly boost your power, but it does hurt the enemy. The second trait does boost your stuff tremendously, and because both of them have the same trigger. Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, I got no complaints on the legs either. Legs are nice. Torso, top tier. Head, pretty okay. Legs, oh yeah, that's actually, no, I'm kidding. It's the same as the head. It's got one good trait, one I'm not really sure I agree with you trait, you know? All right, Beam Saber. Strong melee crit rate boost, and torso EX skill power boost. Again, don't like the first trait. I like the second trait. Okay. At least this gives you some shot attack with change gears. Okay. I'll accept it. It does boost torso parts. We do have a good amount of torso EX skills, so it could be worse. We've been able to be a lot more relaxed with how we spend our alteration tools and stuff, so I'm not going to be as strict with how I go about them these days. Alright, flexible smash, A-D, non-cutscene. Depends on the animation. I don't have access to the animation. Bibbidi-bobbidi-boop, moving right along. Beam rifle. Cool, what do we got? Okay, so the first trait is good. The second trait, I'm not so much a fan of. It's a good trait, I just don't think on a main suit, you know, you dig, you feel me? Yeah, numerically I really don't have anything to complain about. It actually has a really good set of numbers on it too, with that shot defense carrying over like what, 8, 9, 10? 11 change. So you're looking at like 1500 shot attack on the rifle, which is pretty dope. But I don't like that second trait. First trait's nice, second trait not so much. Although I guess you really wouldn't see much use out of that first trait anyways, because it's a beam rifle, so you're going to be using it most likely, because it has 0 melee give. You'd most likely not want to run this on an outfighter, you'd want to run this on a shooter. So yeah, interesting set of decisions were made behind that weapon. And last part of the turn A, the shield. Buff EX skill effect up, talked about that already. Burn your consumption equals 0 when you shoot something down. I don't like that very much, but I know there are people that do. This is going to be one of those personal, I'm not so much a fan of it, but if you like it, hey, power to you. Okay, overall the turn A, alterate the torso. Thank you for attending my TED Talk. Okay, let's move on to the turn X. Actually, let's catch up to chat here real quick. The skin shop's dry. Yeah, we got Mobile Doll May, and then they just like checked out and just said, okay, you guys make your own custom skins. So I'm kind of confused as to what they're going to do with that now. We still have that banner from forever ago that the data miners threw out onto the wild. The, what was it? The Sazabi New Verka banner that was shown off, and it looked like a skin or something. We still haven't heard peep of that, so anyways. Now then, moving right along. Turn X. EX skill power boost, melee power boost. Hey, look at this, we got 2 nice traits. Bibbidi bobbidi boop. So with power attribute, very easy to meet the requirements for while close combat. Very easy to meet the requirements for, especially if you're going to do a melee build, which this gives you boosts for. You're going to get a 30% EX skill power boost and a 35% melee power boost. That's dope, man. Okay. There's no complaints. I like the head. You got yourself a good looking face there, bud. Alright, Moonbeam Butterfly. A-D, what's its buffs? No buffs. Okay, what is going on here, dog? Why did you get the bad version? Alright, no, you each have different animations involved with your stuff. Okay. I'm gonna say I prefer the Moonlight Butterfly from the turn A. Purely what it does. This just seems to be a straight damage EX. So, yeah. Numerically, obviously, you're going to get good stuff from it. I'm not really sure how to feel about the EX, but it's been upgraded. It's going to hit harder. If you already like the EX, then this only made it better. Fusion Destruction Manipulator. Ah, there's our cutscene. Okay. Melee attack boost by 49%. S rank. The arms and the head, man. That's where it's at. Okay, turn X legs. Melee crit rate boost, not a fan. Infighter job, EX skill power boost. Am a fan. Okay. So much like with the parts on the turn A, where I was talking how I like one trait and not like the other, here's another excellent example. Yeah, really up to you if you feel like it's worth blowing a whole trait slot for that second one. Yeah, it's not bad. No, it's easy to activate. I just don't know if... I don't like having, I guess, suboptimal traits and stuff that I'm going to invest a bunch of stuff into. But now that it's become a lot easier to alterate, I guess we have a lot more freedom with it. I wonder if they're ever going to let us like mix and match the traits that we decide to activate. That'd be cool. Busted as all heck, but it'd be cool. Alright, Turn X Backpack. Carapace. Okay, so this is a non-cutscene EX, A-D. I'd have to see the animation behind it. I got no real complaints. A- power is going to hit pretty dang hard. It's got alterated stats. Okay. And let's look at the Age Normal. Oh, yeah. Okay, so the head just got a nice big fat melee attack by 49% buff. Cool. No complaints there. I'm not going to be looking at the stats or anything, as I typically do whenever there's a 3-star being alterated, because, like, it's most of the time not going to be able to match up to Sokai or Battlefest parts that get their modification, so there's really never much of a point, you know? Okay, while mid-range, EX skill... Oh, yeah, piercing. Okay, I'm not so much a fan of EX skill piercing. I talked about that already before. And strong melee power boost only affects a single attack in a melee chain. Yeah, no thank you, Doug. No, that's going to be a pass from me. Arms. Melee power boost by 30% after 10 seconds pass. I don't like the first trait at all. Not only is it enmity, but it's a flat boost, which is worthless. The second one is interesting, though. I wouldn't use it myself, but it has use. Certain builds. So. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. You are right. The turn A's Moonlight Butterfly is going to be single target, whereas the turn X's is that AoE wave. You are right on that. All right. Okay. Good call. Good call, big brains in the chat. Good call. Beam Dagger Bites. B-, A-. This sounds like a flurry. Rush and grab a foe, then strike. This sounds like a pseudo cutscene, which might increase its value as it's a B- pseudo cutscene. But the effect of lowering their physical resist, like, it's not bad, but I don't know if I'd waste an EX skill slot on this with all the investment that's involved. Like, maybe. It's not inherently bad. It does have B- power on it, but I wouldn't use it myself. Which story character am I going to be voting for? We'll get there once I'm done all this alteration stuff. Like, I don't know if you guys are able to see or not, but like, I'm having issues keeping my eyes staring at this screen because it's like starting to burn my eyes along with the desk lamp that I have trying to illuminate. Because like, okay, if I turn off this light, my eyes feel so much better, but my camera drops down to like 30 FPS and the lighting obviously isn't as good. I turn it on, my eyes are now being cooked alive because I got a bright light in my face and I'm looking at my screen. It's just, it's a glare hell, man, let me tell you what. The sacrifices I make. Wear sunglasses. You know what, you're right. Right, hold on. I think my glasses have anti-glare on them. I remember spending a good amount of money on these glasses. Oh. Oh. Okay, maybe this will be better. Let's see. When armored 60% or more, shooting damage output boosted. When rifle category equipped, buff EX skill time up. Don't like the second trait. I don't like the first trait. Simple as that. Let's move right along here. Wait, did I? Yeah, I just looked at you. Don't mind me, I'm a goofball. Alright, so what did the Dodds rifle do? What did you get? We already talked about this with the beam machine gun, so where did he go? Feel better? I don't know. Gonna have to give it a few minutes to see if my eyes feel better or not, and if it does, then I'll just start wearing these more often. Like, I've been playing around with the light settings on this light, because we have, like... So this one I picked because it's the closest to, like, the ambient room lighting. But then we have this one, which is more of, like, a halogen. And then there's this one, which is, like... It's like the sun just kind of spawned in my room. So I keep this one because it's the one that I think has the most, like, the closest ambient lighting to what I have going on right now. So... There's a couple of options on that light. One of them I cannot put on because it will kill my eyes. One of them is nice on the eyes, but I don't like the lighting it gives. I like this one the most, and it's kind of in the middle. It's the Goldilocks thing, you know? Get the Mana Shar mask. Okay. Yeah, so this is definitely the, as you said, a poor man's ICD. But for people that don't have a ton of options available for them for ICD, initial cooldown reduction, this would be a very good alternative. Again, easy to activate power, you get a nice 12% is 12%, better than 0. I just don't like the second trait on this very much, as it's a real speed boost. Who cares? In my opinion, I don't like it at all. Okay, and the last part of the age is the shield. After this, I'm going to go grab a drink because I am thirsty as heck after all this talking. With power attribute, buff EX skill effect up, blah, and in fighter job, enemy special shot power reduced by 30%. It's rare to find something using special shot unless they're a long shooter with a beam rifle, so who really cares that much? So, yeah. So, yeah. Age. I really wish they had done something cooler with the Dodds. Oh well. Okay, actually, what's left? We have the Sword Strike, Rising, and the Ground Cell. That's it, right? 3 more suits. Can I hold out that long? I should be able to hold out that long. Let's keep going. Okay. Protection hack. Reduce the enemy... Oh, 69%. Haha. Okay. Reduce physical resist of all enemies by 69%. That's nice on a support suit if your primary suit's melee. Outside of that, you know, physical resist. Wish there was physical defense, or melee defense, I should say, so, but yeah. Against a large enemy, enemy strong melee power reduced by 25%, with technique attribute debuff EX skill effect up 22. Yeah, I don't like it. I'm not a fan of either of that. Alright, arms. Ooh, block stance. Defense. Raise melee defense of your squad by 49%. That's a significant sum. Okay. Okay. If your support suit doesn't have anything terribly important in the arm and shield slot, because remember the Sword Strike Gundam arm isn't integrated, that may be an option for you, as that is a significant buff for your team to reduce damage. But it's only going to be really useful if you're fighting against a melee-centric team. So it may be best to look more towards debuffs than defensive-specific buffs for your side, because if you debuff the enemy, you know what you're running into those debuffs, right? Legs. Infighter drop, EX skill power boost. Hey, there you go. The second trait. It's nice. Yeah, that's what I like to see. I just don't like the first trait, though. I still find that that's a write-off. But the second one's at least usable. So, okay. The legs are passable. Backpack. And then we have the Schwartzwehr, however you pronounce that. I know I butchered it. Suffer. B plus power, D pierce, and it looks like, oh yeah, jump up, bring it down, melee defense reduction on the enemy, animation lock. It's a cutscene, or no, it's an EX skill. That's the set of words I was looking for to put together. Stat stick 420. Please no. Head-mounted Vulcan. Wow. Moving right along. Torso. Strong melee power boosted. Wasn't the Rising Gundam like the first event Gundam we got? Or was that the Burning? I don't remember anymore. It was? Okay. Yeah. For speed attribute, EX skill piercing boost. I don't like either of those traits. Alright, rising arrow, A, B minus, and you fire a beam arrow. I guess depending on the way that this animation plays out, it could be useful. Probably won't be, but it could be. Yeah. Oh. Not feeling. Shooting crit rate boost and mid-shot attack raised. No, that's... I don't know why that's even a trait, but it is. And where were we? Legs. Backpack. Defense hack. Reduce melee and shot defense by 54. There you go. That's a solid debuff, because now it doesn't matter whether you're running shot or melee-centric builds, you're reducing everything. I like this backpack. I like those numbers. I would put this on my support suit. Yeah, we still don't have the original Sandrock. It's a big F. And it wasn't their first event suit. It was that promotional offer they had through the Sandrock's Gunpla kits, where if you bought one of the specially marked ones, you got a code you could put in game and get the Sandrock. Problem is, only the Japan client has the code entry screen, and the only suit that was added through the system was the Sandrock. Anyone that wanted the OG Sandrock? Suffer. Because even if you download the JP client, you're still going to have to buy the box from overseas and have it imported. Have fun. Alright, let's look at the ground cell alterated. 54% melee attack boost. Okay. 19% shot attack. I find that weird that it went from 39% to 54% instead of 49%. But okay. Shot attack did not get any boost at all, stays at 19%. That's actually now the highest boost in the game at 54. There you go. Yeah. I still don't think it's worth it, frankly. For the amount you have to invest to get this part, I honestly just don't believe it's worth it. It has stupid stats. Yeah. B plus. Okay, there you go. Now this Vulcan does damage. The problem is it's a Vulcan, and Vulcans have a very bad rap around these parts. Around most parts, actually, I play this game. This could be good, could do damage. Or it could not, because it's a Vulcan. Yeah, that's going to be something that I think will have to be used to really see whether or not it's worth it, because it could be good. It does have B plus power. Could be good. Could not be good. I'll have to see it in action to really make a judgment on that. And unfortunately, I'm fresh out of Twitter videos. It's just a Mag EX. Yeah, sure, it is just a Mag EX. But if it's a powerful Mag EX for anyone that didn't get the crossbone torso, because they still haven't rerun it after more than a year, they'd have a chance to get it and have an alternative. Alright, so you get a melee power boost and another melee power boost when you're power. Okay, the arms are really nice on this suit. I still don't think it's really worth all the amount of horror you'll have to dump for it, as there are alternatives that offer the same value through other sources. So it's really up to you if you want to get the ground cell or not. Personally, I'm going to avoid this as it's currently not worth it. A plus, A minus. Now to remember, this is effectively the Cubily set of legs, funnels, all that stuff. Meaning, and people that have the Cubily and alterated it know that it does do damage. The thing is, you might as well get the Cubily, as not only does it mean you do not have to spend 15,000 Horo to get a single part of it, chances are you'll have to spend much less as long as you wait for a bullseye or some 5-star pick ticket to come along. But you know what you're getting with the Cubily. With this, it's kind of up in the air. For all we know, it's a modified version of what the Cubily does and has less funnels. And as I've talked about before, multiple times, in this game, as the build currently works, funnels are only effective the more there are. Reason being is because the funnels all shoot Now, this is ignoring melee funnels, because melee funnels work separately. This is for the beam shot funnels, specifically. They shoot at pretty much the same constant rate. They'll do a spray, they'll fly around, they'll do a spray, they'll fly around, they'll do a spray, come back home. The more funnels you shoot out, the more damage you will do. So it purely boils down to how many funnels do you shoot out. The Q-Bully we know does damage, good damage, because it has a lot of funnel bits. This, we don't know. We're guessing, we're hoping, we're assuming. I just don't think it's worth 15,000 horror to find out it was a bad investment, you know? So. Alright, well, let's look at the backpack. Okay, so you get our buff EX skill effect up, and while close combat, melee power boosted. So I do like that second trait. The first trait I'm not so much a fan of, but at least it's paired, like, it's a usable trait. So if you do use something like the zero system in the head, you will get a significant boost, 54% melee on top of a 22% boost to that. That's a healthy amount of numbers. Standalone, I'm not so much a fan of this trait, but at least it is a workable trait considering second trait's quite nice. Alright, let's look at the weapons. Did any of the weapons get a good buff from this? A+, A-. Okay, so you're functional now, you'll do damage, but like, why would I go through all this investment when I could just farm the code Phi? Or, you know, use any other weapon. Anyways, cool, like it looks cool, yeah, no thanks. Sinister Spiral, A-. Okay, there you go. This boils down again to, what does the cutscene look like? People are saying that it's the pretty much the way the Epion Whip works, where it lashes out. So, for all we know, Sinister Spiral is just one of those EX skills rebranded. Who knows? We'll have to see. But A- power. That's gonna hurt. Alright, Beam Sword. Melee power reduced, and EX skill power boosted with a rifle equipped. We have a ton of rifles in the game, so you have your pick of the litter, and you are going to get an EX skill power boost. And being able to reduce the enemy melee power by 30%, I don't think that's the best thing to put onto a primary suit. I'd rather something more damaging, but much like I said with the buff skill effect up, at least it has some tangible value, and it's not a, you do 10 flat melee damage more, or some, you know, not so great trait like that. So at least it's something workable. And lastly, the beam rifle. Where do we sit? Oh, I was right. I said about 10, I said what, like 10-8, 10-7 with this, I'm pretty sure. So I was really close with my guess. Okay. With high mobility, initial EX skill charge boost. I like that trait. With twin blade category equipped, EX skill power boosted. There you go. So if you have a twin blade and high mobility, bada bing, bada boom, you got yourself a big damage dealer right here, all wrapped up in a single package. It does have less than the max ceiling of like 11 change thousand shot attack, but you know what? It's still a respectable number for what it is. I wish it didn't cost 15,000 Haro, but you know what is what it is, right? You need altered chips for ground cells, so more than 15k Haro for one part. It's kinda, yeah. It's expensive. Anyways. I think we done. No, we're not. You guys want to know about the AI selection. Okay. For the notices. Insert Batman theme here. Okay. So in case you weren't aware, this popularity poll campaign has started. I believe I talked about this before. Pretty sure I did. Anyways, yeah, so you clear a mission and you get to vote on a pilot, and whoever has the most votes, we're gonna get that as an AI pilot. Yeah. Oh no, it's gonna be a Valentine character. Oh no. As for who I'm gonna vote, I don't know, actually. You also vote on the Twitter. Oh, it's a double dip? Oh, that's lovely. I'm not really sure who I want to vote on here. That's kind of my pickle here, you know? Give me a second here. I had a conversation with somebody about this before. Where was it? Oh, here's the conversation. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah. I have no idea. So me and someone else were talking about what we think the potential classes of all the or job licenses for all the characters are gonna be. So we were Sana's gonna be an outfighter, Yuri's gonna be a defender, Ren is gonna be a mid shooter, Toma's gonna be an infighter, and then we're like, does that mean Rindo's like a long shooter, or we're gonna have like dupe licenses? What's going on here? But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to vote for Ren just so that we have a chance at Ron being added into the game. Because, ooh, yeah, Ren, man, ticks those boxes for me, let me tell you. So that's probably the way I'm gonna play this. Go for the long con, you know? Anyways, I'm gonna wrap up here, guys. The weather outside is starting to get pretty bad, and I'm afraid of power getting knocked out. So before the stream is cut, before I'm able to say peace out, I'm going to say it now. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully everyone remembers to participate and vote for their favorite character so that we see this ballot, you know, go well. And I will see you guys in a handful of days for the next discussion video if I don't upload something sooner. Peace out.